5 Life-Saving Truths After 70, a keynote for living lighter, freer, and happier. Opening, setting the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, and fellow travelers on this remarkable journey of life. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever woken up in the quiet of the morning, long before the rest of the world stirs, and asked yourself, what really matters now? Not yesterday. Not 10 years ago. Not what mattered when you were chasing careers, raising children, or trying to keep up with the world's pace. But now. At this stage. At this season of life. For many of us, those moments of silence reveal something powerful. That we don't actually need more stuff, more noise, more demands. What we really need is clarity. And here's the truth, clarity doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't come from television, from society, or even from well-meaning family members who think they know what's best for you. Clarity comes from within. And most often, it comes from recognizing a few simple truths that, if embraced, have the power to lift the fog, ease our hearts, and free us to live with more confidence and less regret. Today, I want to share with you 5 life-saving truths that many older adults discover far too late, but that you don't have to. These truths are not gimmicks. They're not shortcuts. They're not about pretending life is perfect. They are simple, powerful realizations that can help you walk lighter, love deeper, and live freer in the years ahead. And I promise you this, the last truth may surprise you. It might even make you smile as you imagine what comes next. So let's walk this road together. Truth number 1, the power of letting go. Let's begin with one of the hardest lessons of all, letting go. I want you to imagine for a moment that you're walking through a forest. The air is fresh, the sun is streaming through the trees, and you feel free. But strapped to your back is a heavy backpack. Inside it? Rocks. Not just one or two, but dozens of them. Every rock represents a regret, a grudge, a wound you've carried for years. Maybe it's a mistake you made decades ago. Maybe it's resentment toward someone who wronged you. Maybe it's guilt about not being the parent or partner you thought you should have been. Now here's the question, is it your age that's making the journey so heavy, or is it the backpack? You see, one of the great truths after 70 is that the things that weigh us down most are not the years on our body, but the memories and emotions we've refused to release. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing the past. It means acknowledging it, and then choosing not to let it control you anymore. I once met a man named Bill. He was 83 years old, and he told me he had spent most of his retirement angry at his younger brother over an argument that happened when they were in their 20s. Think about that, 6 decades of anger. 6 decades of replaying the same scene. One day, Bill said, he was just tired. Not tired in his body, but tired in his soul. And he decided to let it go. Not because his brother apologized, he never did, but because the anger was costing him his peace. That night, for the first time in years, Bill slept without waking. Friends, sometimes letting go is the only gift we can give ourselves. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. So I ask you, what rock are you still carrying in your backpack? And what would it feel like to set it down, today? Pause for reflection. Truth number 2, the importance of saying no. The second truth is small, but it's mighty. It's about learning to say one word, no. Now, some of you have spent a lifetime saying yes. Yes to your children. Yes to your boss. Yes to neighbors, friends, even strangers. You've said yes because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. Because you wanted to keep the peace. Because you thought that's what love looked like. But here's the reality, every yes comes at a cost. When you say yes to what drains you, you are saying no to what could restore you. At 70, 75, 80, and beyond, your time and energy are more precious than ever. And protecting them is not selfish. It's survival. I once spoke to a woman named Carol, 76 years old. She told me, for years I felt guilty saying no. Even to people who drained the life out of me. Then one day I realized, every time I said yes to them, I was saying no to myself. And I decided I didn't want to live that way anymore. Carol started small. She stopped picking up the phone when certain people called only to complain. She stopped attending gatherings that left her exhausted. She began saying no with kindness, but with firmness. And do you know what happened? She felt lighter. She had more energy. And, perhaps most importantly, she stopped resenting the people around her. Saying no doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need long explanations. A simple, "I'm not available," or, "that doesn't work for me right now," is enough. Because this stage of life isn't about pleasing everyone else. It's about being true to yourself. So let me ask you, where in your life do you need to practice the power of no? Truth number 3, releasing unrealistic expectations. The third truth is about expectations, those invisible rules that society, family, and even we ourselves place upon our shoulders. For decades, many of us lived under the weight of expectations, be the perfect spouse, the dependable parent, the tireless worker, the one who holds it all together. And even now, after 70, after retirement, after children have grown, those expectations don't just vanish. They morph. Now you're expected to age gracefully. To keep a smile. To never complain. To stay strong. But here's the reality, those expectations can be chains. They stop you from being real. They stop you from admitting when you're in pain, when you're lonely, or when life is just plain hard. I remember a woman named Judith, 79 years old. She had always been the strong one in her family. After her husband passed, everyone praised her for holding it all together. But Judith confided in me, I wasn't holding it together. I was barely making it through the day. One afternoon, she finally told her daughter, "I'm not okay." And do you know what happened? Her family didn't pity her. They didn't see her as weak. They loved her more deeply. They showed up. They supported her. Friends, suffering doesn't come just from what we experience, it comes from believing we shouldn't be experiencing it at all. When you release unrealistic expectations, you give yourself permission to live honestly. To grieve when you need to. To rest when you need to. To admit, this is hard, without shame. So let me ask you, what expectations are you still trying to live up to that no longer make sense? And what peace could you gain by letting them go? Truth number 4, the strength of staying curious. The fourth truth might surprise you, staying curious keeps you alive. Some people believe that aging is a slow winding down. But the reality is, many older adults only start to truly thrive when they adopt a mindset of lifelong learning. Now, staying curious doesn't mean going back to school or mastering something complicated. It can be as simple as asking questions, reading something new, trying a new hobby, or even listening to someone's story with fresh ears. Because here's the thing, when you stop learning, you start shrinking. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. Life narrows. Every day feels the same. But curiosity reopens the door. It keeps your world wide and your heart alive. I once knew a woman named Lorraine, 78 years old. After her husband passed, she joined a community writing class. She hadn't written anything since high school, but something inside her said, why not? At first she was nervous. But within months, she was sharing her life stories, making friends, and rediscovering joy. Curiosity isn't about being brilliant. It's about being open. It's about saying, I'm not done growing yet. So here's a thought, what's one new thing you could try this year, not to prove yourself, but simply to stay alive to life? Truth number 5, the courage to ask for help. And now, the final truth. Perhaps the most difficult, but also the most transformative, asking for help. For decades, many of us prided ourselves on being independent, strong, capable. But the older we get, the more we realize, true courage is not in doing everything alone, it's in admitting that we don't have to. There is no shame in asking for help. Whether it's asking a neighbor to carry groceries, calling a friend when you're lonely, or talking to a professional when grief feels too heavy, asking for help is not weakness. It's wisdom. I think of Frank, 74, a widower who used to be a construction foreman. For years, he was the man people relied on. But when his knees grew weak, even the stairs in his home became a challenge. At first, he said nothing. He didn't want to bother his kids. He didn't want to be a burden. But one day, after nearly falling, he finally asked his son for help installing a stair rail. His son came over, brought his teenage grandson, and what should have been a one-hour project turned into a day of laughter, stories, and bonding. Frank told me later, I thought asking for help would make me a burden. But it actually brought us closer. That's the truth. Asking for help invites connection. It strengthens bonds. And it reminds the people who love you that you still need them, and that they still need you. Closing reflections. So here we are. 5 truths. The power of letting go. The importance of saying no. The release of unrealistic expectations. The strength of staying curious. The courage to ask for help. These are not tricks. They are not theories. They are simple, human truths. But if you embrace them, they can change the rest of your life. Because the people who thrive in later years are not the ones with the most money, or the best health, or the least trouble. They are the ones who stay open. Open to forgiving themselves. Open to living lighter. Open to finding joy again. And if you're sitting here, listening to this, reflecting on it, it tells me one thing: you're not done growing. You're not done living. You're not done choosing peace, joy, and possibility. So let me leave you with this: don't underestimate what one small decision, grounded in truth, can do for your future. The next chapter is still yours to write. And it can be lighter, freer, and more beautiful than you ever imagined. Thank you.